Welcome to the Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian.
I forgot to ask if there was any, ask Russ if there was any, familiar faces at the tryouts.
Oh, boy.
As far as I know, there weren't any professional wrestlers at it.
Not
So-
one.
That's what I
Literally
heard. Is
just,
they were all athletes.
So it's
They
just
were
guys
hand selected guys that were at this tryout. They weren't independent guys or anything like that. A couple of the guys they signed were former rugby players, cheerleaders, an aerobic instructor.
Yes.
Some 2 or
I
3
love
people
it.
played football. Some guy played basketball in Argentina.
I mean,
Oh,
in fairness, Kevin Nash played basketball in Argentina too. So
did El Gigante.
So did I.
El Gigante was one of the worst things ever in the ring.
He really was. And
Oh,
he's dead.
Well, when you're
From-
7'8", you
from
can't
playing
even
basketball.
walk. I don't know how he played basketball, the way he walked around the ring.
Yeah, that's crazy. So invite only.
That's what they said, invite only.
It looks like they were all wearing like specific uniforms. It looked like back in the day when you used to have the gym uniform you had to put on, the school handed out shorts
Yep.
and shirts.
Yep. They did,
Really?
yeah. They each got a shirt and a pair of shorts to wear.
I would say usually when they used to take those NXT the new signee class picture,
Right, the developmental shirt.
they always had the gray developmental shirt with the black WWE shorts or
Oh,
yeah,
NXT shorts or whatever.
This is more of like the press is going to be here. Let's make everyone look nice and snazzy.
Yeah.
If it was back in Orlando, it'd probably be people wearing just regular, normal gym clothes.
They've got to be selling. That's why I asked Russ what the morale is, what's the atmosphere like internally, because, going through a few layoffs and, when companies that I've worked with have sold, you feel it, it's coming. You see some layoffs happening before they even get to you. The morale changes, the atmosphere changes. I'm curious what it is internally. He never really answered the question. He's just like, oh, he's safe. Great. I want to know what the internal situation is there, because there's got to be some people that starting to update their resumes, and because I'll tell you too. So we don't. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
We think about the wrestling aspect of it. They have so many people that work behind this. God, I hate framing it. We have so many people that work behind the scenes at the WWE, and when I was doing IT recruiting last summer, they had a layoff then too, and it was a lot of those people. So I was talking to people who worked within WWE trying to get them IT jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm curious, because it's not just the wrestlers and stuff they're laying off. They're laying off
Right.
inside guys. Yeah.
And like Russ said, everybody's finding out about the releases all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've read, it seems like they have like a company-wide app that kind of stuff goes, messages go through and whatnot. But yeah, like you said, it's you have to have those kind of, those the people that aren't being used and the people that just they're jobbing on TV, you just as the writing on the wall, you know what I mean. So it's to just, I guess, the morale can't be that good if you're constantly living in fear.
Look at NXT guys. They can't be. They have to be kind of worried about what's going on. They hear all these stories and then they get told, "Oh no, everything's going to run as normal." It isn't going to run as normal. If they're hiring all these trainees, is how they're doing it. They're going to get rid of the Full Sail thing where they had a pretty good setup there. They want to just use their developmental area for it all. It's like things are totally changing. It seems like it's going backwards instead of forward. And as Tom was saying, where they released all the guys there, the Peacock deal was actually bad for that because they had all their people that worked in the graphics department and editing and all that stuff. They basically gutted it from, say, 500 people down to like 20 because they're just using all the Peacock people now.
And think about it too. This was done around June or July last year.
Yep.
And the app was still in business until what, March? So
Right
they
before
were
Mania.
Yeah, so they were already letting people go back then because they didn't have a need for them anymore. So that deal was already in the works, almost a year into it. So, yeah, we always focus on the wrestling aspect of it, but it's not just that. I mean, they're releasing a ton of people internally as well, and continuing to do so. It's just for obvious reasons. It's a wrestling. Well, we like to think it's a wrestling company. They like to think of it as an entertainment company, but we focus on the wrestlers that get released too, or more so. I mean. I just thought of something to change topics real quick.
Sure.
We were discussing, if you all remember correctly, on our chat about the possible third guy that could be coming in.
Yep.
And I just thought of something. What interesting way, because there's supposed to be some sort of program between Punk and Bryan for this whole thing, at least that's what the rumors are. What if the third guy is Bray and that those three are the Cult of Wyndham?
I don't think.
That's why I look surprised.
I can't see Punk being second fiddle to Bray Wyatt. You know what I mean? Or Wyndham Rotunda or whatever his character's going to be.
Unless it's three-headed monster.
Yeah.
You have to. You would have to. Because Punk's going to get more than either of those two would. Nothing against either guy.
Yeah.
And if he's, say, second fiddle, as you said, to Bray, it wouldn't last long. If they did that, it would only be a real short run. They'd have to change it up. I don't think they would do that.
I just, at this point, I can't see anybody being put with Punk. I feel like, the buzz that's going on right now, like all over social media, I've had people that haven't even watched wrestling, and one kid since CM Punk left. You know what I mean? He comes up to me today at work. Is it true he's coming back? I'm like, it's looking like it.
I've been just giddy all day. Giddy
for weeks.
You guys, I'm sure you saw my Facebook post today.
Yes.
I wore the tank top to the gym. I got the Chicago flag shirt on now. I'm giddy.
But it's SummerSlam weekend. Come on.
You know what's funny? Whether he shows up today, and I was just texting a buddy of mine. There's no way this can live up to the hype. Unless there's got to be some way they bring him in that matches the hype, but it's so hyped up at this point that there's going to be disappointment regardless. You're just setting up for that. It's funny to me because it is SummerSlam weekend, and it's so far in the back reaches of my mind that it's SummerSlam weekend because it's CM Punk, it's AEW tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even care. And the fact that SummerSlam's on a Saturday, finally you're doing a pay-per-view on a Saturday where no one's going to work the next morning.
Right.
Should be excited about this. But instead I'm like, I barely know what's on.
There's nothing exciting in the show. I mean, the whole lineup that they put out there, I don't see anything worth,
it's a very
no missed show. It really is awful.
I'm actually kind of bummed that NXT is not on Saturday instead, because I would have rather just stayed up, and watched NXT. I mean, I think there's 5 matches on that card, and I'm pretty excited for all of them. But it's kind of
there's not too many.
It's still like second fiddle to just the anticipation of CM Punk and.
Oh right, but
between 2 and 3 hours.
Comparing the two, NXT's got more excitement in my head than SummerSlam does, and it should never be that way.
Right.
It's just amazing that this is the second biggest show, and the upstart 2-year-old company is dominating this. And
for a 1-hour television show on a Friday night at 10 p.m.
Yep.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. I mean, I guess we'll see what the numbers look like, later in the week. But
Last
Well, you
week's
got-
did 745K
Did you
on that time
guys
frame.
see what I just sent out?
No.
There's
of the people in the building,
yeah, so it was a tweet that went out. It was someone took a video of the United Center, and there's just crowds going both sides, like it's WrestleMania level. It's amazing.
That must have been from an hour ago because they let people in at 6 o'clock their time, which is 7 o'clock our time.
Yeah, because they're filming dark right now, right?
Correct. Yep.
That's why Tay Conte's there. I feel bad for her. She used to be on the main event. For the main shows.
So if they're gonna start filming Rampage after Dynamite,
Next
when are
week
they
they
gonna-
are.
when are they gonna film? So they're filming Dark Elevation, Rampage, and Dynamite all at the same time.
They're going to have to because they're not
damn
live on Friday next week.
Oh,
Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
it's roving reporter Russ
We were
Sweetland.
expecting this.
Our man on the scene.
Is he in his car?
No,
Oh,
he's
shit,
not
he's
in the car.
outside.
Wow.
Russ not in the car.
Coming to you live from Las Vegas, the home of SummerSlam.
Second most anticipated show of the weekend.
I might actually say third.
Third.
Maybe fourth. GCW's tonight.
Can anyone see me or hear me?
Yes, we do.
We can.
You're not John Cena, so we can all see you.
What's up?
Not too much.
I'm in Vegas.
Very nice.
There's a giant guitar next to you right now.
Yes, there was.
Oh, look at that. It's huge.
I can
I'm not sure where he's at.
currently, so I'm gonna get to a.
And frozen.
Nice.
Yes, we lost him.
That's a beautiful image, though. His hair's flowing in the breeze.
Victory.
He looks very confident right there. All right.
All right. So yeah,
Moving on along.
it's the whole like the quote that Tony Khan said earlier today on Busted Open, basically being like, pretty much you guys know what's happening tonight, and it's part of me that I'm still like 25% skeptical.
You must be the only
I-
one.
I am the most skeptic part. Yeah,
Until
it's
no,
gonna
no, I'm
be
with you.
MJF. It's gonna be like MJF coming out and CM Punk's type.
I actually had another friend say the exact same thing to me earlier today.
Oh my god.
They gave out the exact same angle and said, "It'd be great if they play his music and MJF comes out."
Nope, no, it wouldn't.
But I'm with you. I don't know if it's 25%. It might be 10 to 15 for me, but there's a part of me that's like, all right, I'm giddy, I'm excited. Calm down till I hear his music, until I physically see him, because there's still a chance. I mean, it's him. This is what he does.
That's why I don't think they started doing all this stuff until they actually had his name on paper.
Yeah.
You don't start teasing everything unless you know it's there. But if he doesn't show up, I think AEW's just killed themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
All their momentum and everything they've done, it's basically gone. Not like they lose so much from all the guys, everyone that loves them and all that. They're just, I don't know how you could rebound from it.
Here's a question.
I know
go
they've
ahead,
never
Sam.
promoted him, but that's not the point.
I was just gonna say, Jim Cornette said on his podcast, if Punk doesn't show up, they'll burn that building to the ground.
You can never run Chicago, but you're gonna have to go to high school gyms from now on. You've killed yourselves.
Yeah,
I feel bad for the South Side tonight if he's not there. So yeah, a lot of murders in the South Side.
There might be a fire. They might put the building on fire by the end of the show. For God's sake.
So let's assume Punk's going to be there tonight. The biggest, most anticipated 1 hour wrestling show in probably 20 something years goes off without a hitch. It's everything we ever expected it to be.
Mhm.
how does the WWE combat that tomorrow night? Now, I know they're saying they don't care. I know they're saying that they don't feel AEW's competition. They've got to be looking at this and saying, no one's talking about SummerSlam right now. Everyone's talking about an hour-long program on a Friday night at 10. They've got to think, we got to do something to get the focus back on us, to get the attention back on us. And how do they do that?
I don't think they can. I don't think they do.
Well, it's a very interesting question. Being in Vegas and having spoke to many superstars today, and also seeing Triple H yesterday, it was very interesting to see with all the stuff that we've heard about the changes in NXT, about the firings or releases. It feels like business as usual from doing these things, but also I don't necessarily see people walking on glass, which I am saying while Annie Lennox is actually singing it in the background. So there's very good timing, Annie. Thank you very much. But it's interesting because there's no feel in Vegas for SummerSlam that it's going to be bad, and people are. I saw a CM Punk shirt, and I told the guy, I was like, "Shouldn't you be in Chicago?" But like, people seem to be, at least Vegas wise, eager for everything, eager for SummerSlam, whether they deliver whatever they deliver. But I feel like maybe they'll maybe they'll give Cena the win, because then that headline is 17th World Championship. Maybe Goldberg will win, so Tom will lose his mind.
Ugh.
But maybe whatever CM Punk does tonight, all eyeballs are on that, and maybe they don't know what they're going to combat with until 11:01.
I could see them having 3 or 4 different game plans. I can see them trying to figure out which one's the best, plan of attack on that. I sincerely hope it's not Goldberg winning the world title, because you're killing Bobby Lashley just like you killed Bray Wyatt for the same reason in the same way.
Right.
You can't kill Bobby Lashley. He is literally your only guy right now on Raw that is a viable world title contender. Drew doesn't count because Drew's not supposed to go up for it right now. I can see them doing the Cena thing, but now you're killing the whole bloodline gimmick, and they want to do, The Rock and Reigns and build that. And Cena getting involved kind of takes away from that. I don't know what they can do, because I know they've been asking celebrities. They've asked Tyson. He said no. They've asked Shaquille, and
Yep.
I mean, I don't think he's going to say yes,
He
because
can't.
he's like best friends with Cody Rhodes all of a sudden.
He's got a big money contract with TNT for basketball, so even if he
Oh, yeah.
tried to go there, they would tell him you can't.
Right. So I don't even know what they could do surprise-wise that could combat this. But again, this is assuming that tonight is a major success. If they're hyping all this up and he's not there, or he looks like absolute dog, let's say they have him do a match and it shows he hasn't wrestled in 8 years.
He's definitely not doing a match.
won't be a
No,
match.
he can't.
He's not wrestling
No
until
way.
All Out.
Yeah.
He'll get on
That's-
the mic, or he'll get in the ring and do something, but nothing match-wise.
That's my biggest concern, is that it's been 8 years. Like, I know he did the work with heels and all that, but it's still big difference. It's 8 years.
Supposedly, and as we said, take it with a grain of salt, he's been working out at the Pro Wrestling Tees wrestling ring for the past 2 months, nonstop, basically. Darby Allin's been there. Ethan Page has been there. All sorts of AEW guys have been going there to train with him, supposedly. So he shouldn't have
imagine,
much ring rust, I wouldn't think. But
yeah,
you always have ring
would
rust.
right. I would imagine he's, cardio or what have you, is up and ready. When I was at the Heels premiere, people were talking about like his character in the show and that he looked good. And
Yeah.
I mean, you say that anyways. You say, "Oh, my 99-year-old grandma looks great." You know, you say those kind of things,
Sure.
but it seemed legitimate.
Mhm.
I mean, doing what it needs to be doing and getting people talking but I mean, AEW, if they mess this up, it's just the most complete disaster of all time.
Oh yeah.
Do you I mean, I know you said they couldn't run Chicago. Do you think this kills the company?
Potentially.
Not right away, but everything's going to go down.
Starts them on a
Oh, yeah.
downward.
Think of it this way: it's relationship building.
Mhm.
All business is relationship building. They have been trying for 2 years and doing it very successfully, building relationship with their clients. Their clients being us.
Mhm.
We are their target customer, and they've built a pretty good amount of trust with a large client base over the last 2 years.
Right.
If CM Punk doesn't come out there with, after all this hype, you've now destroyed that trust. As we all know in personal relationships, you destroy that trust in a personal relationship. Good luck getting it back. Probably not too good friends with that person going forward. And that's what this would do. But this is on such a large scale. Like I said, you look at that tweet and it legit looks like a Mania crowd waiting to get in.
Mhm.
The hype on this, they're talking about on the NFL Network. They were talking about it
Everywhere.
I can't remember if it was EEI or the Sports Hub today. I was listening to one. I kept switching back and forth, and someone was mentioning it.
Probably the Sports Hub.
Yeah,
They have
Series
they have
XM.
a couple wrestling fans that do a podcast on there.
Yeah. Sam Roberts mentioned it today, and he's not supposed to because he works for the WWE. But even he mentioned it today.
Well, on
So-
that note too, while I was up doing interviews, Paul Heyman was on the Michael Kay show, which is, I believe, out of New York, and they brought it up. And Heyman, I didn't hear all of it, so I don't know exactly what he said, but he was definitely talking about CM Punk and what Reigns said, which I'm all for what Reigns said. I don't know if we brought that up, but like,
No, not yet.
all right, then I'll stop. But I'll say,
Oh, it's fine. Keep going.
No,
I'll say
yeah,
bring it up.
bring it
yeah,
up.
I mean, I'm all for it. Reigns said, give or take, obviously, that Cena and The Rock were bigger draws than CM Punk. That's true. Sorry. I mean, maybe someone can convince me otherwise, but Cena
We'll find out
and
tonight.
The only
Also
way
true.
the only way I could ever try to convince you otherwise, and it wouldn't even be like a true convincing. In a short amount of time, CM Punk did outsell both of them merchandise wise,
right.
but over the long term, yeah, Cena and The Rock have outsold. But for about a 2-year period, though, CM Punk was the top merchandise getter.
Yeah, and absolutely, and along with what Rick said too, we'll see tonight.
Yeah,
Tonight could totally change everything to where next year we're seeing CM Punk as Captain America or something like that. Like, so much is going into tonight; it's just out of control.
you know what I'm jealous about, and those of you on this that were there that night for the Mick Foley title win in Worcester. I've never experienced a pop, and Russ is frozen again. I've never experienced a pop and that's not as majestic of a picture. I mean, that's
No.
the confidence isn't quite as there as it was the first time.
I'll pop up the old picture now.
I like that.
There he
So
is.
he's back. But that pop in Worcester, I've never experienced a pop like that in a wrestling show. I've been to a World Series game and deafening. I would love to be in Chicago tonight and hear what that crowd sounds like when the first notes of Cult of Personality hit, because that's going to be, I mean, the old saying, it'll blow the roof off the place. It may legit blow the roof off the place tonight.
I want to like it. I hope it's. Do you remember when he it was the Money in the Bank where he was like, I'm taking the title and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
With the Cena. Do you remember that pop? That was a huge pop too.
Yeah.
That was like.
Yep.
That was right up there, like you said, the Mick Foley one. Maybe Jericho's Y2J debut.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. I really like.
Yeah. The
only
biggest pop,
thing else I was at.
75% of me is looking forward to it.
The only other pop
85.
I heard that was anywhere near that was when Austin won the title at the Garden.
Right.
It wasn't as loud, but that was the only thing close to it.
But we all knew going into that he was winning that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It was
so.
still loud, but it wasn't the same. But it was louder than most that you would normally get.
But Rick's got a point here, like where he's saying 75% of them is excited. That 25% is like, for me, like I said, it's between 10 and 15. And I'm sure I can't speak for the rest of us, but I'm sure for a lot of people out there, you're hearing the hype and you're excited, but then there's still that, because he has said no for 8 years. He said, I'll never do it again unless the storyline's compelling enough for me to get in. I don't want to be in wrestling anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. Every time someone asks him about it, he said, that's the past. We're not doing it. So there's still that part that's like, I don't know if this is actually real yet.
Yeah, I mean, what Rick said, 75%, that's amazing. I mean, Hall of Famers go into the Baseball Hall of Fame for 30%, or 25%. So 75% is amazing.
Well, I was saying earlier before you came on, I was just like 25% of me just like feels like he's not going to show up. Like I'm 100%. I am like ready for this, but like there's just I don't know. I just hope that there's not some ridiculous swerve or just I don't know. Like
MJF coming out instead.
Yeah, so just something.
I wonder if they try that and then he actually does show after people are getting pissed about it.
Oh man, that would be cool.
The only reason why I say that is MJF and Jericho are done with now from what they did on Dynamite. There's no other story there. It's over.
And I want to get into the Jericho and MJF thing in a second. Yeah. The only other thing that I can compare the like how you feel about this whole like 75-25 me, 85-15 is you see videos, pictures, visual proof that there might actually be aliens, for instance, UFOs and stuff.
Right.
But until you physically see one land in your backyard and
skeptical.
Gigantic headed gray alien with big eyes come up to you, you might not 100% believe it. That's where this is. Once he pops through the curtain, I'm all in. Take me to your leader. We're good.
I mean, all out.
It's also right. It's also very interesting too, because like with the Austin thing, which I was there, which is amazing, and for the Mick Foley thing, which was amazing, I was there. Not gloating, but just being there was a different time.
Yeah,
we didn't have these phones. We didn't have all this technology. So watching it on television, obviously we watched Foley and Austin on television, but it's a whole different thing. Someone's going to be on Twitter immediately saying, "Oh, that was stupid," or he sneezed during his promo, or like it's automatically getting ruined the second he comes out. So like it's going to be very interesting to see. You almost have to do triple of whatever you're meant to do to make it like level to what we want it to be.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they can live up to the hype that they've put out there. And the hype has been, when was the last time we saw a wrestling event this hyped up without a name being actually mentioned?
Good point.
Like, so it's trying. How can I put this? I think just the hype. I think, like everyone said, once that first note of cult of personality hits, I think no matter what happens after, I think the fact that just AEW getting CM Punk to come back to wrestling is the like hype enough.
That's the
I
coup.
think
That's the coup right there. Because, like I said, for 8 years he said, "I'm done. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back." AEW is good enough for CM Punk to come out of retirement after 8 years. That right there speaks volumes.
I mean, could there be a hefty paycheck involved? Absolutely.
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
But at the same time, I mean, depending on how tonight goes, that hefty paycheck it could just be a drop in the bucket. They could be printing money after tonight if they're able to, just I guess ride the wave of momentum and just keep it going.
Because all
Well,
tonight go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say they'll be able to print money for sure. There will be a T-shirt. There will be this, that, and the other thing. But imagine that it was a different hype, but certainly a big hype. Remember, not so far ago, Triple H and Shawn Michaels against the Brothers of Destruction in Saudi Arabia. Shawn Michaels coming back. That was insane.
Right. See, I disagree on that.
And it wasn't good. The match wasn't good. So like, it wasn't the same. But Shawn Michaels was coming back. I mean, that's sort of crazy.
Bald Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Exactly. So there was already the disappointment there.
It was Nick Gage, Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Ron Michaels.
Yes. It was cross-eyed.
You win this round. You win this round for sure. Nick Gage, Shawn Michaels. I'll give you that.
You know what, Russ, though? I'll back up with this one. The first time Michaels came back after the back injury, the 4 years off.
That one makes more
There's
sense,
something you can compare it to because you didn't know what you were going to get from him because it had been 4 years. He had an injury.
Right.
But he was still young enough to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with CM Punk. I actually think they're similar in age when the returns came, or was Michaels just a little bit younger?
I think he was a little bit younger because Punk's 40?
Punk's 43.
40, yeah, I would say Punk's like 3 years older than I am.
And he's my age.
I won't get into it.
Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady's age. Actually, Tom Brady's 44, isn't he?
He's
Yes,
turning
he is.
just turned 44. Punk
right.
turns 44 in 2 months or a month and a half.
But if you kind of think about it, though, too, it's like, yeah, he's 43. I mean, AJ Styles is 45. He can still go. And it's also he had 8 years off. Christian was the same. He had 8 years off as well.
Christian's my age. He has his edge.
And it's just an edge. Same thing. Those 8 years, 10 years off, like, they weren't bumping every day.
No.
You know what I mean? They they have a lot of left on their bump card.
And 40s is the new 30s, as they say.
Sure is.
Because I mean,
best shape of my life.
A lot of people are. I mean, I am too. I lost 98 pounds in the last year and a half. I'm in my later 40s now.
That's right, kids. We're coming for you. Little shits.
I mean, it's just a number, really. I mean, he hasn't, as you said, he hasn't bumped, taken injuries, this and that, outside of a few UFC fights or commentating. He hasn't done all the work. So, I mean, the age is just a number there.
Right.
It's not like Flair coming back at 72. That's a totally different story.
And also, too, like Punk, I mean, yeah, he had, sometimes he would do like a springboard clothesline, but for the most part, most of his offense is strikes and grappling. Yeah. So it's not like he's going to do any like crazy crap and land on his head.
He's not doing a 720 off the top, the audience somewhere or anything crazy.
Another thing to take in consideration too is that he has never done anything to alter himself, if you will, you wake up with a hangover, you're struggling.
No
He's never done
enhancers
never
cocktails to feel better. Right?
Yeah, that's never been his game. So that's something that's, probably aged him slowly as well.
Totally, for sure. And he's not a big guy either, where he's not, he didn't put on 150 pounds because he's already 6'5" with bad knees and 275 pounds. His body styles where he could just come back pretty good. Not like Braun Strowman, where
I'd
he's
be interested to see
38, but he looks like he's 58.
Right. I'd be interested to see if Punk comes back at like wrestling weight, or if he was, because he at wrestling he was around 220, 230.
Yep.
And I think when he was fighting in UFC, he was
185.
I would say 185, 170, around there. So it's definitely interesting to see. I mean, granted, I guess at the same time, if Punk's 190 or whatever, that you can always build him at 220.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shawn Michaels towards the end was around 190, and they still build him at like 220, 230.
Yep, right. Yeah, after the back injury, he lost weight.
So I mean,
point. He probably put on a little bit of weight and muscle more than, just if he's going to be in there bumping all the time. But that's normal stuff he would do.
Yeah. I mean, he loves his donuts, so I'm sure he's put on some weight.
Right.
Something complete. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you? So with Punk, hopefully debuting tonight, 75% sure that he's debuting tonight.
I was at 80. I'm at like 90.
Do you have him first thing, 10 o'clock, Cult of Personality, or do you do 10:59?
So I'm going back and forth, and I've been going back and forth in this all day. I've been debating with friends about this. There's a part of me that says, yes, give the crowd what they want. Tony Khan seems to love to give the people what they want, so I can see right at 10 o'clock.
Well, everybody's going to be chanting. Everybody's going to be chanting his name.
That's as soon as that show comes on, CM Punk chants all day.
That's the thing. If you wait till the end of the night, you got to feel bad for everyone working matches, because they're just going to hear the loudest CM Punk chants for the entire duration of the night. They could be putting on 5-star matches. It doesn't matter. You're just going to hear CM Punk over and over again. So I think you got to put him first.
But the Carney like wrestling part of me, like it's kind of like when the local guys sell all the tickets and they get put on the main event because all their friends and family are there to see him. So if you put him first, all those friends and family are
going to leave
the show.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you put Punk on first, are those ratings just going to, just go back to, you know what I mean? Are they just going to, I feel like you have to put him on last. People are just going to watch, not turn off that TV until he's on that show.
I think if TNT has a say in it, that's what'll happen.
Yeah,
I think so.
If Tony Khan has a say in it, he comes out at the start.
And I feel like you have, I mean, I guess it all depends on whether or not Punk's going to be a heel or a face.
Yep.
But it's basically, you have, I guess, Darby come out at the end, cut a promo, Cult of Personality. There's your match for All Out.
For sure.
Because I don't think Darby doesn't have a match yet, right? For All Out?
No, he does not.
So.
Because he called out the best in the world in Chicago. That's what he said a few weeks ago. So.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be him, though, because I think it's just going to be something completely different.
I saw a rumor that it's supposed to be Brian.
Yeah, I can see that too.
And I had a debate last night with my buddy, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Russ, but I had a debate with my buddy last night about, well, let's just rehash WWE stuff. But if you're Punk, it's been 8 years, you're in front of a live crowd wrestling for the first time in damn near a decade. Wouldn't you want to work with someone that you're extremely comfortable with, and you've had about 100 matches in all around the globe?
Oh, sure.
What each other's moves are going to be. I think that would be why. Yeah, rehash WWE stuff, sure. But Punk's also going to be in there with Kenny Omega at some point. He's going to be in there with Hangman Page at some point. He will be in there with Darby Allin at some point. But I think he's got to have that level of comfortability too.
Mm-hmm. Makes
at least
sense.
for the first go at it.
So do you have like Bryan Danielson debut tonight too?
I mean, that would be they did say
What if
tonight's going to change the landscape.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What if it's CM Punk chants all over the place, and then Daniel Bryan comes out? instead. But as CM Punk eventually comes out,
Right.
but Daniel Bryan comes out first, and then people are just like, wait a second.
That would
Daniel Bryanson comes out to Cult of Personality.
That would be awesome.
I know it.
Cult of Personality hits. We all think it's going to be Punk, and here he comes. Here comes Daniel Bryan or Bryan Dan, whatever he's going by now.
Brian Danielson.
That would be
Brian
well,
Bryanson.
Let's be honest. JR's going to call him Daniel Bryan.
Well, he's there tonight.
Several times. So that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be so what, All Out's in 2 weeks?
Yep, they've got Dynamite and Rampage next week and the week after. So there's, including tonight, 5 shows leading up to All Out.
That's a whole lot of TV to just
And as
build
we were
a whole
talking,
bunch of
as we were
storylines
talking
that
earlier,
they could
next
actually do it.
and talking earlier next week, where they're live for Dynamite, no one's showing up on Rampage because it's going to be a taped show. You can't have any debuts there, or it's going to be leaked everywhere.
Right.
Unless you do a debut to get people to actually watch to see what the heck's going on. I don't know.
I am legit giddy.
But then you have the triple shot of the Chicago shows the week after. So I don't know. We still don't have an opponent for Moxley because Tanahashi can't be it now.
Right.
So does he fit into this at all? I don't know.
Well, that honestly, that's what I was kind of thinking, that like where you debut Punk, because I know Moxley's on Rampage tonight. He's facing Garcia.
Garcia, yep.
So I mean, you have that be the main event.
Didn't Mox do a shoot on Punk a few years back when he was still with WWE about him walking out of the business?
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would say I could see that happening.
But then again, Punk and Renee are really close. So
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
could work too.
I mean, same thing. I know it's not Danielson, but you have Moxley, who's been, I mean, the WWE guy. He knows the WWE style. I mean, I know Punk, doesn't really work the WWE stuff, but he's I wouldn't say a safe bet, but at the same time, I feel like they could definitely have a really good match together to start out. Especially like you said, they don't really have. He called out Tanahashi a few weeks ago on that promo,
Right.
and then Wednesday night's promo, he just shot down everybody.
Yeah, because they changed what the plan was, because they gave him the IWGP US title, and now he's going back to Japan with it. They said the match is going to happen down the road now, but just not at All Out. So Mox kind of had to change what was going on, because they totally had to change, 360 right away. So, I mean, it'd almost be smart to keep Moxley with a mystery opponent.
Yeah,
and build that up more. It could be another debut there.
See, because I was just thinking, you have Mox just beat the tar out of Garcia tonight, because he, his promos lately have just been just filled with hate. You know what I mean? Which is awesome, because he's, just, it's like that Stone Cold vibe kind of thing, and he could not so much, be doing the Aleister Black, I just mowed through this dude, who's next. I've been calling everybody out on the roster. Some, Tony Khan, give me somebody.
Right.
Call it the personality hits and boners everywhere.
Oh, we're editing Rick now, not Tom today.
Sorry.
We got to keep that, and we have to make Rick. You have to make that T-shirt.
Boners everywhere.
Boners everywhere.
I like it.
That's great.
Buy the shirt.
Boners everywhere.
One thing, I'm currently at the Park MGM in Vegas, so obviously that's why I have the mask on, not in my house or anything. But just a complete side note, it's interesting to see. I believe this is the Wrestlers Hotel, because many have passed during this podcast, and I was just thinking they must love these masks, because no one, they're just walking by, and I just saw I just saw Jeff Hardy. I just saw Nikki ASH. They're just walking, doing their thing. I saw Rhea Ripley earlier. They must love this.
I don't know if y'all heard
Tom,
that.
would you like to say something about Rhea?
Is she right there?
No.
You
I saw
caught
her
that.
earlier.
You caught that.
Give her
Thank
the
you.
phone. Tom will talk to her.
I'm glad someone caught that. Yes, I would enjoy that. Is it full mask there? So obviously you have yours on. Is it? I don't know what their policy was in Vegas.
Inside.
All right.
So everybody in the building tomorrow's gonna have a mask on, right?
Yes, they're supposed to.
Mhm.
I bet you
Yeah.
Vince is going berserk about
Same with Rampage tonight. They put the mask mandate back on this morning for Chicago.
Oh
Yeah, they
wow!
Boston today too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
did they?
Chicago, you're supposed to be masked up today. Boston's not for what, another week or so?
Is it another week?
I think they said next Friday. It's soon. It's not. I don't think it's today because they just announced it. But yeah, Chicago is for the 6 a.m. this morning.
And it's 100+ degrees outside, so everybody and you're only outside just to get to the next casino or the
right.
The next place to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wild to see it. But I mean, it's smart. Everybody has it on inside. That's for sure.
How does Rhea look in person? Like without the gimmick on?
Great. She's really tall.
Yeah.
Yes, she is.
She might be 6'1", 6'2".
Nice.
I don't know if it's the shoes, but she's definitely tall.
I have nothing to add to that. I was thinking of stuff, but I don't want Brian to have to do some work editing. Trying to help the man
Rick
out
likes
there.
those parts when there's no audio for like 20 seconds. You're watching it back, you got to read the lips to realize what they're saying.
So Russ, I wanted to ask. I brought it up earlier before you got on, and Brian mentioned something, but you didn't see any at the tryouts. Was it today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
You didn't see any I guess notable faces trying out?
No, but I could be totally wrong because there was a girl that I saw. There was I don't know, 40 or 50 people.
I think 48 was the number that Triple H said.
Yeah, because there was three different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw one girl and I was like, wow, she's really good. Really good. And she ended up getting picked. One of the people got picked. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I read somewhere that she had just been starting, but so she's had some, but she's definitely good. I mean, it should be obviously you never know, 6 months from now, a year from now, or whatever. But she definitely impressed and stuck out out of the 40 people that were there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And her name's online. I just don't have it on me right now.
Yeah, I was just wondering because usually usually there's some kind of indie names or something. And I mean, granted, I know they just got rid of a bunch of people, but wow, so they have a tryout. But like Brian said earlier, it was I guess
it was invite only for that one. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was.
I think this one was more. This one was more not that. This was more raw, like people from track and field or people that play football or something like that.
There was no veteran indie guys or indie girls there at all. It was all just they said big guys, athletes, and attractive athletic ladies was how they quoted it.
Yeah.
Attractive athletic ladies.
Yep.
So
And,
kind of
I
like a
mean-
Hope Solo type of thing.
Right.
People were like,
I wouldn't
we
mind
only
that.
saw about 40 minutes of it, but they were going all out like the entire time, and they apparently were there.
And that was day
The day
two because they had
before.
another day too. Before
Yeah.
that.
And apparently they were doing they were there for hours, so just like doing promos and doing a bunch of things.
Russ,
talked to a guy-
did you say they were going all out?
I did
going
mean
all
to,
out.
They already got released?
but
Well,
yeah, I caught myself before.
apparently about 20 of them were.
I wonder if that that Olympic gold medalist that Gable,
Kurt Angle.
no, the black one.
Mark Henry.
No, he didn't get. God damn it!
Oh, Gabe Stevenson.
Was it Gable
Stevenson.
Stevenson, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Was
Sorry, you walked into it.
I did. He wasn't there, no, because I know they
No,
kind
he
of.
wasn't at the tryout.
Or do you
No,
think he's
no.
already in there? Like, just I don't think he needs a tryout, right?
If they want him, yeah, they'll just
Yeah,
give him a deal, kind of like
Yeah.
what that
like Mark Henry.
Parker Boudreaux or Mark Henry.
Or they
10
just
years,
bring
10
him,
million.
or they just bring him to the PC and kind of work him out a little bit, but without cameras. Or
He'll
anything.
get a personal invite and basically
Yeah.
say, "Sign here, we want you."
Right.
This is more the publicity stunt.
Yeah, this is
That
just,
type
hey,
of
look
thing.
at this.
Not
just-
that these people aren't getting deals and aren't gonna.
Oh,
go
right,
to
no, I know
developmental and
what
all
you're
that,
saying. That's
but
why
yeah,
they let
it's-
people into it.
Yeah.
But even just I was I was telling my wife, I was like, yeah, Russ is at this tryout, and my wife was just sitting there like, didn't they just fire a whole bunch of people? Why are they holding tryouts? It's just she has a point. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't look. It's kind of like back to what we were saying earlier. It's like all these people walking on eggshells, and it just
Speaking of walking on eggshells.
like you just have it just doesn't, I guess, lift morale to have tryouts after you just fired a whole bunch of people looking for bigger people to replace
Right.
even
Or
more
even-
people.
Or even the people that are still there. They can't be liking it. Oh, you
Yeah, it's
signed
crazy.
16 new people. Great. What about me? What's going to happen now?
Right.
I mean, as I was saying, where they were going to redo the performance center around and make it new lighting and more bright because they don't like the look of it. I guess the head honchos are all going to head overseas to talk to the UK people. So I wonder what's happening there as well.
See, I want to know what
I don't think
focus
anything good.
group. I want to know what focus group that they put together to determine the lighting thing, because I love the way NXT looked. It was not pardon the expression, but it was raw. It
Yeah.
had that old ECW feel to it, where it was still kind of like an independent, but
Mhm.
not. It felt like it was separate from the main roster. It was intimate. It was just good.
Yeah.
So I want to know, and bulk of the people that I have talked to about this agree. So I would love to know who thought this. Wow.
Kevin Dunn.
Yeah,
Kevin Dunn
Yeah,
loves lights.
I don't know what he looks
Would
like.
think he wouldn't.
So-
He's got huge buck teeth in the front of his mouth.
That's why I'm saying
But you
I think
can't see
somebody
it
of
with the
his
mask
stature
on.
would not like light. Wow.
So he's
There's so many
What-
things I want to say, but I can't.
no, you can't. You can say anything because I have earpieces.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's only you have to edit yourself because
Right.
all right.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you can
I
say
was-
whatever. You can say whatever you want.
I was going to say right now you should totally try to pin our truth for the 24/7
I was
championship, but
about to say it.
Reggie
I
has
forgot it's Reggie.
Right.
God damn it,
So,
Reggie.
it. Just go pin
just
anyone you see.
Just Yeah.
I would.
Any
roll
other,
up, Russ.
any
Just do
other day,
Quick roll
yeah,
up.
any other day I would have had a chance. But
That's actually a
Time I-
question
Any
that I
refs
would
around?
love. I would love for you to ask our truth this question. If when he was 24/7 champion, if anybody like in an airport or something legit tried to pin him for the title, like
that
some
would
some
be
fan.
hilarious. I had to, or like a picture, like someone took a picture.
Oh my
like,
god, yes.
I think he would be fun and would do something like that if
Yeah.
you caught him at the right time.
Probably.
That's the key though, at the right time. Takes that one bad time. Actually, everyone he's got this reputation of being an asshole.
Mhm.
But it was literally probably one time he's taken like Cal Ripken signed everybody's autograph, but if there was one time he didn't.
Yep.
Right. It's a cool weekend. I'll say that.
So
You should see if you can find Goldberg.
yeah, I got
Tom
I-
wants to talk to him.
Yeah.
Tom.
bring him on, special guest.
My eyeballs are ready.
Wait a minute.
Find his
Wait a
son.
minute.
We'll talk to him.
Oh, yeah,
He
there we
might
go.
he might live here actually.
On the
Goldberg?
streets? He should.
I think he lives in Vegas.
Ugh, that
You won't
figures.
see him around there. He probably goes straight to the place and out.
You know what other
Yeah.
douchebag lives in Vegas? Zach Bagans. Talked about him last week.
We can
Well, we have to-
continue
we
to
have to-
talk about.
We have to keep bringing up all our names every week somehow.
Speaking of this, about special guests, you are sitting next to a few. Could you ask any if they want to join the podcast? Come
in the
on and
current-
say hi.
In any other time, probably, but right now it's kind of like they're going.
All right. Hey, look, I had to shoot my shot, right?
Gonna try.
But one thing you'll be happy with, Tom, is that your girlfriend is here too.
Which one?
Mila
Your girl-
Kunis?
no, your girlfriend that you talked about earlier.
Oh,
Willie?
Rhea?
Yep. And it's the shoes, but still tall.
I mean, that's fine. I want to feel
Pretty good.
Edit that one out, Brian.
One of these I'll leave in there just to see if you listen.
Oh man,
What does that mean? Geez.
You should ask some of the superstars, in particular, people like if you run into Nia Jax, which if you do, God help you, because you'll be sucked into her orbit. Or
If he runs into Nia Jax, he might die though.
seriously, she may hurt you because that's just what she does. If they're all, if they feel alienated by Lexi now that she's 24/7 with Ryan Cabrera.
Yeah, good point. And also, I
Was it?
think one of you should bring up, the situation that I'm in, so people who are listening to this
Oh yeah,
know what we're talking about.
no, that's a good point. So Russ is in Las Vegas right now, where SummerSlam is taking place. He, which hotel are you in right now?
Park MGM.
He's in the Park MGM. We can say this because by the time this is on YouTube, SummerSlam will be over. They'll be long gone. None of you actually go down there to try to find them. But he's in there
That's true.
sitting. He's sitting right now next to Drew, Charlotte, Nikki, whatever her name is these days, R-Truth, and the charismatic enigma, Jeff Hardy.
Right. A motley crew.
Oh, and we now have information direct from Russ that he may be next to Nick Khan's right-hand man.
Choke him out.
Vince McMahon is next to him, folks.
Well, no, not. Yeah,
Vince McRight-hand man.
yeah. I would officially get up if that was the case. I would make a move.
Choke him out.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Joe would if he was around.
I mean, please
Oh,
just choke
geez.
out Goldberg so he doesn't have to show up on tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Goldberg.
Well, unless he's doing something tonight,
Hopefully drugs.
why he wouldn't?
On
And
SmackDown?
too many of
Probably
them.
not.
Oh yeah, SmackDown's on.
Yeah.
Live as we speak.
I totally forgot about SmackDown.
Yeah, it's about that time. It's 8:47 when we realize
Rampage. It's Rampage Friday night. That's why
it's all I care
Well,
about right now.
it's your pre-show.
I totally forgot SmackDown's on.
That's who's running the
crazy.
show if everyone's there.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. No, those are all Raw people, though.
Well, they're close. They're like,
They're in Phoenix tonight.
yeah, that's like a
SmackDown.
40-minute flight. I think it's the same from LA to Vegas.
Okay.
It's a 6-hour drive.
It is on the dot.
Yes.
Like, no matter what you do, it's always like 6 hours on the dot.
You could literally stop at Flagstaff and pick back up an hour later, and somehow it's still only 6.
100%. That is so true.
So we haven't touched on this one yet. Where do you guys stand in the 5 labors of Jericho and how it ended with MJF on Wednesday night?
I liked how it ended because it meant more for him to lose, I thought, after all that he went through. And he made it look good for himself and for everybody involved to lose. To make it worked for me.
I mean, I just hate MJF, so it's meh to me. But I mean, as far as the whole storyline, I mean, we got to see Chris Jericho for a month just wrestle the most ridiculous crap that they could actually put on television.
Right.
You got to see a death match on live TV. You got to see Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrera, who combined age is like 97 years old, trying to you know what I mean? It's just so
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like I do like I do like me some bad wrestling sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's like it's either really good wrestling or like really bad wrestling, and a lot of those Jericho labors were bad wrestling to me, but I still enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I could see Jericho putting over MJF because I mean, Jericho's not on his way out, but he's should be putting over younger guys if
Right.
Everyone's saying that MJF's going to be like the future of the company. So I mean, I guess I'm all right for it, but it just seemed kind of anticlimactic after just like what I mean, like you said last week, it could just be because the schedules could have been mixed up, and Gage could have been, he should have been the 4th one, but
Yeah.
But also too, I think Gage, they probably did Hot Shot at 2 that week just because he was like super trending at the moment. They just come off the Dark Side of the Ring and all that stuff,
Mhm.
the Cardona stuff.
Time to recover too.
Makes sense.
I'm 100%. I'm 100% with you on the anticlimactic. I was left feeling like it happened, and I was like, "Where do we go from here? What goes on now? Is like that? Is that program done? Is there still a Pinnacle versus Inner Circle situation happening? If you had Jericho win, then all of a sudden there's going to be something on top of that. But where do you go from here? It's like the evil villain won. Now what?
The one thing I really didn't like about the match was like I said, I don't MJF winning is fine, but it's like Jericho hits him with the bat and then goes for the elbow and stops because he'll get disqualified. But you just hit him with a goddamn bat
and the ref wasn't looking.
Right, I
Right.
was going to
So-
say the ref
Yeah.
wasn't looking, and he could
So-
have done it.
So he
Yeah.
could have done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how many times have you seen that? That's like the old trope. Oh, I mean, AEW's done it before. It actually was MJF and Moxley. Remember Moxley couldn't do the paradigm shift, still
Right.
hit it anyway and
Right.
called it a day. Like I mean, I think that's what was kind of lackluster for me. It was, Jericho went to hit the elbow, realized he couldn't, did some bad acting, and then
Call.
MJF, and MJF hit him with his own elbow and
Yep.
made him tap, and it just kind of fell flat. And I mean, that's probably because MJF did it, and I hate him.
I didn't
Yeah, I
think
just
it
thought
was,
it was
an
flat.
awful match. It was just the ending results is where do they go from there? It's just kind of like just all of a sudden it's over with. Kind of looks that way, which kind of like strange because everyone thought something was going to happen, causing them to have the final battle it all out. Now you can't be like, I want another match, and be like, why would I give you another match? There's no reason
Right.
for it. So it's kind of like where they're going. I don't know.
It was like we had all this build up, and then it was, you know what? I'm going to throw this out there. Get ready to edit this out, Brian.
All right.
It's like you really, really, really want to bang this hot girl. And you're trying, and there's all this buildup. You got to take her on the date. You got to buy the dinner, maybe take her to the movie, maybe drive her back to her place in hopes that she's going to take you in. She finally does. And then guess what happens, folks? Just a little fizzle out. That's what this was. And you're sitting
We've all
there
been
like,
there.
yes. And you're sitting there. Wait, no. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh crap, that was it? It was like all this buildup, that was it? That's what this was.
True.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah,
was.
you're
I
right.
mean,
You're right.
But the other thing too, I believe is in Santana and Ortiz. They're still feuding with FTR.
yeah.
There's
And they just finished Guevara and
I was like, Guevara and Sean Spears
basically.
wrestled
That's
on
over with
Wednesday.
now.
So it's just I don't know if Hager and Wardlow are still
I don't
at
think
each
so.
other, but I mean,
He beat him in that MMA match, and they kind of been kind of away from each other since then.
right. So honestly, I wouldn't mind both of them, splitting apart from each other and
Yeah.
going and seeing what else can happen.
And if Wheeler didn't
I-
get hurt the other week, I think FTR and Santana and Ortiz might be over with by now too. But since he got hurt, they kind of have to wait that one out till he's healthy again. So
Right.
that might
Yeah, that
drag
makes
that
sense.
out a little bit. But they could be done with that if he wasn't hurt. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind seeing Santana and Ortiz get like actual tag team matches and
Yeah.
compete for the title. They
should.
They definitely should.
I thought they'd be in that tag title eliminator tournament there that they're doing. I was kind of surprised they weren't in it.
So
They're deceptively good.
yeah.
They are a good team.
I felt bad for them when they debuted and they took the masks off and everyone's looking like, who the f- are these guys?
Yeah, right.
Because nobody knew who they were. If you weren't like, and this is my point about AEW at the beginning, and this is why you have a lot of these guys that are familiar faces now, because unless you are hardcore wrestling fans, unless you're the people who pay attention to the indies, who pay attention to, your Ring of Honors, your New Japans, things like
Right.
that,
Yep.
you didn't know who a lot of these people were. So there's these, Santana Ortiz take the mask off, they're looking around, the crowd's literally like, it's coming to me.
Yeah, I've seen them
I think-
before.
Yeah.
Bill, right? It's Bill? No. Oh, sorry.
Right. And then you have Excalibur
Yeah.
yelling, "It's Santana!" Like they're
Mhm.
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Because Excalibur just yells everything.
I remember that night
Every
too.
name possible.
Yep. When he's like, that's Santana and Ortiz. And I'm like, who the hell is that?
The only people that knew were JL, because JL's the only one that watched Impact
Watches
Wrestling.
Impact. They were 5-time former Impact champions.
They had
JL
number
was-
2 on my tag team list.
But not
Only
the
kid in
Dudleys.
jail.
But not the Dudleys.
No, not them. Never them.
He's our archivist.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of Impact, so Christian retired the TNA title on last night, right?
Yes, he did. So
It's
they're
kind of
just
good
on-
considering they were just carrying around a belt from a, I guess, technically defunct promotion.
right, right.
For a while too. It wasn't like he was the first one to do that. That was
No.
a while.
No, Moose brought it back sometime in 2020. We need JL to tell us why. I don't remember that part.
Well, the problem is that looked better than
Yeah.
the one they have now.
Yeah, I like
So
the
they have
TNA
to-
title better than the Impact
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
It did look nice. It just was like simple, but
Yep.
real nice. Looked like a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good looking belt.
Yeah, there's it goes a long way if it looks good.
Oh, totally.
Because when it looks bad, then it's just like it kind of devalues it too.
Mhm.
Where you're just like, really? Like when they make the reveals and stuff like that, and you're just like, out of all ideas, you came up with that kind of thing.
Right.
Like that's kind of how I feel the Intercontinental title is right now. I don't like that design one
Oh,
bit.
that's awful.
It might look nice in
terrible.
person, but it looks bad. They should just keep the
Yeah.
classic one. I really like that one a lot.
Oh, the classic one was beautiful.
Classic's the best.
Growing up, that's the title I wanted. I didn't
Mhm.
want the world title. I thought the Intercontinental title looked the best.
Yeah.
And the coolest guys had it because it was always Hogan who had the world title or whatever. But then like you had your Mr. Perfects, you had your Rick Rudes, your Shawn Michaels later on, Razor Ramon. You had these really cool guys that got the Intercontinental title.
Mhm.
I wanted to be cool. I don't want to be Hogan.
Exactly. Right.
They had and then they had that one during the Attitude Era that was kind of weak too. That weird the purple strapped one.
Oh,
The real
Yeah.
That was the worst one ever. Worst one
That
ever.
was super oval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was that was awful.
So bad. So
Yeah.
bad. That was
Yeah.
my least favorite of all time.
That
100%.
US title, the US title that you sent in the chat today, that was it's a good looking title, but it's the same thing. It kind of doesn't look. It looks more like a giant belt buckle than an actual title.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Up close though, I mean, the real I saw the real one today, and the replica, and it's amazing.
Mhm.
Still not my favorite US title though. WCW US title all the way.
Yeah,
For
that one
sure.
was pretty sick.
Mhm.
Definitely. You don't
Yeah,
like
they
the
did.
spinny US title from like 20 years ago?
That one was all right.
Yeah, and NWA WCW had some really nice titles. The TV title, I always love that one too.
Yes.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite of all time.
the
Like
WCW
the Arn
title?
Anderson one,
Yeah,
or
Mhm.
the
The red
Yeah.
the red
the
one.
red one. Yep.
See, I like the one that we used for the EWA World title.
or
That
the
version of the TV belt.
Oh, okay.
the hacksaw dug in and found it in the trash one,
Yep. That one.
because they used that same. Didn't Hogan have a version of that for the WWF title? Right? There was a WWF title that looked very similar to the TV title,
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
but it was like
For a
black
very
and
limited time.
silver, I think. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right. Mhm.
Yeah, it was like around 86, 87, if I remember, or 88, something like that. Right before the Winged Eagle.
Yeah, probably
'cause
around
he had-
88.
Because he had that other one too. What was it? It was like right after he won it from the Sheik, right? He got
The one
He-
that had the
He had the green,
two,
the old green belt.
yeah,
the
that
green
ugly
belt when he
green
won
one.
from the Sheik, but then he
Yes.
had that one that kind of looked like a TV title. Like it was, I don't even know what they called it. I think it was just like the Hogan 85.
I'm not recalling that one. I don't know why.
I can't remember what it was called.
I'm legit
Yeah, I know what
12
you're talking about.
I'm sorry. I'm 12. All I'm thinking about right now, for some reason, is that someone ripped ass last week. That's all I'm thinking about.
Oh Jesus!
I'm trying so hard, and it just popped in my head that someone legit know the podcast ripped ass. That's all you
Not-
can hear.
Russ has no idea.
Not it.
Okay, I just looked up the title you're talking about.
Oh, that world title?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it the 85? No, the 85 was the one that looked
They're
like
saying
the TV
86
title.
title.
86.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, it was 86, 87.
They didn't use that one long because they went right to
No.
the Winged Eagle shortly after that.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't last long. Yeah.
Did you ever see that? You ever see that weird one? I'm sure Jason probably even has it. It had Hogan's picture in it.
No.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There was a weird.
That one was between the green belt and another one, I think.
Was it?
I believe
he
so.
had
It was a real short time period. I
he
remember
had it for like maybe months, not
it was,
even.
Yeah, it was.
It
Real
looked
short.
like this. It looked like the old 6-man tag belts.
Mhm.
They were like, it was like a big oval plate.
Right. It was real skinny and big and long. Mhm.
It really
then
does look like the WCW TV title.
Yeah.
Which one? The 87 belt.
Yeah.
The 86, the one between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that's kind of funny. Hogan pretty much had a new belt like every other year.
Mm-hmm. So the Wing Eagle came around, and that one stayed for a while.
Yep.
That's my favorite belt of all time.
And then they switched it to that horrible, gigantic circle with the blue leather strap
Yep.
that they gave Austin. That belt was hideous.
Oh yeah. That thing.
Absolutely
I didn't like.
hideous.
The Big Eagle.
Yeah. There's been a couple world title. Like I hated the spinny world title. And the only reason is because you've got your most prestigious prize, and it just,
Seemed like
looks like you went to Canal Street in Manhattan to get it.
Seemed like
next
something
to,
if you win at the circus or the fair,
Yeah.
you get it.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's your prize, and it's a spinny thing.
You had your choice between the stuffed animal whose head's about to fall off because it was so poorly stitched,
Right.
or this world title belt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I never liked that title. And they kept that thing around forever.
That
even
one
when it
lasted
did
quite a
spin.
while, right?
Way too long.
Then
I
they
liked
went
it
to-
when Edge took it and had this logo in the middle. That was
Mhm.
cool. But yeah, they had that way too long.
Yeah, because then it became like a gimmick belt. Each person that won it kind of gimmicked it to the character, which was just like, what's the point of that?
Right.
Right.
Until Punk just got it and then didn't make it spin. And then I guess they wanted to give him that when they started doing just the big W's, like what they have now. They used to have the one. And I remember hearing that they wanted to give that one to Punk, but Punk refused because it was like 20 pounds. And he's just like, I'm not walking through the airport with this thing.
Right.
See, and that's why you're 75%, I'm 85%, Brian's 90%, because he does things like that where he just refuses a title belt because he doesn't want to carry it.
Yeah, because
There's
remember
still a chance.
after he lost it to The Rock, and
Yep.
then The Rock was like, "Hey, look at this new title belt that I have," because the other guy didn't want to carry it.
Exactly.
That's the thing. He was complaining that here's a part-timer coming in to win the title. It's like, you refused that title. Yes, they spent money on this, and
Right.
you refused it. That Hogan title is horrendous.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Wow.
remember it when you said the picture. I remember it because they'd always show it on like All American Wrestling and stuff like that. And I was like, what the heck? Oh, it's
Yeah, they
awesome.
had-
It's like a boxing, like Rocky
Totally.
Balboa type.
Mhm.
It looks like they glued his picture. Like they cut it out and just glued it to the belt.
Oh, it's.
That's probably what. Now that you
I
think
don't
about
doubt
it,
it's
Russ,
probably a sticker
that's
or
pro-
something.
that's probably where they got the idea from the
Mhm.
the Rocky movies. That because same thing. The boxing belts had the champ's picture in the front.
That's
Yep.
true.
I liked how I like that how the NWA does that with their women's title.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the old original NWA titles from
Yeah.
like the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's usually had Moolah's head in it or whatever.
I know Billy Corgan just purchased Mildred Burke's title. And
Yeah,
he's gonna do
he's all
something
about
with
her.
that, I guess. Now.
Mhm.
Speaking of purchasing wrestling stuff, you see the freaking all the stuff that they bought on those unreleased treasure shows on A&E. Now they're selling some of that stuff.
Oh, are they?
Oh, they are.
Oh, wow!
Those are-
I didn't see that.
I believe someone pointed out that they were selling Brutus Beefcake's shears from the what was it, the SummerSlam where he teamed with Hogan to face Zeus and Savage.
Okay.
Those shears, they're selling them right now. WWE's auctioning them off
Oh, okay.
right
Auction
now.
them? Hmm.
But if I'm not mistaken, those were the same shears that they bought on that most wanted treasures show. I mean, unless I mean, who knows?
So they can have
Beefcake probably
season 2 and go back.
I
right,
could be saying it is. Who knows if it's the actual pairs?
right. Not for nothing. I'm sure you could just get freaking garden shears and throw some tape on the handles and call it a day. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just
That's weird if they're auctioning off some stuff. I wonder why. Oh, because they're for
Budget
sale.
cuts. Budget cuts.
yeah, they're what was it? There was a Big Boss Man nightstick that he used against Coco Beware in like 1987 or something like that. You know, it's just
That's
and
weird.
it's at like $2,200.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and the shears. The last time I saw the shears, they were at around 3,500.
Wow.
Someone
The
tell
guarded
Jason to
shears.
stop bidding.
Jason only bids for the title belts.
So Russ, any more
It's,
superstars?
Oh, I was just about to say no, but but
And they let out a bus filled of them.
but I might be able to get that photo that we
Oh.
were talking about earlier.
Our truth is around.
Nice.
He'll do the podcast. Bring him on. He'll have fun with it.
Brickle Pam.
We can ask him how little Jimmy's doing.
Well, we could have him on right now.
Yeah.
They,
He could do a rap for us. It'll be great. We could all say what's up after it.
Yeah.
everybody's on their phone.
No surprise.
Yeah.
Right.
Wonder if Joey Janela's on his phone.
There it is.
We'll find out in less than an hour.
Can't wait for the Joey Janela Fuego del Sol matchup.
Oh, it's probably happening on an Elevation or Dark in the next week or two.
5 stars.
It's going to main event gymnasiums and bingo halls all throughout this country.
Have the match on GCW.
I think it should be held at the Bill Rico Boys and Girls Club.
Well, that show's happening tonight too. I was originally going to go, but
Have you seen any of those guys walking around?
I haven't. But where that's taking place is
Totally in a different direction.
kind of a little down the road.
Yeah.
So unless they wanted to come up to the strip, it's in old Vegas.
hmm
So there's plenty to do there. So
Right.
they're not gonna come up here, and especially the Manny Pacquiao fight is out here,
Yep.
and they just had to weigh in like
Oh,
an
okay.
hour and a half ago.
hmm
So there was a lot of traffic everywhere. So
Oh, sure. I
no
bet.
one wants to do that. So it's busy, that's for sure.
I saw you were at the store yesterday. You sent a couple of
Yeah.
those pictures over, and there was a story I was reading earlier about the doll you were holding.
Yeah,
And
Lily.
supposedly the story is depending on how the Lily doll sells, depends on how Alexa Bliss's character goes from now on.
Huh.
The more
They have-
dolls that get sold, the more she gets involved with that whole scenario. And if it doesn't sell well this weekend, then something different's going to happen. Maybe they just kind of have her go back to being Alexa Bliss again.
right.
Oh,
don't
that
know.
would
Well,
be
they had-
amazing. I hope nobody buys those.
They
I
said
hope they
that-
all burn tonight. I hope there's a faulty electric fire.
In
There's
Goldberg's
just
room.
the Alexa Bliss doll section of merchandise. Everything else is fine.
They said
I don't
that's
know
Just
how
a
I don't know why.
small
I don't know how much-
contained.
I don't know how much it's going for, but there were a lot.
I guess there's kind of depends on what they're going to do with her, depending on how that doll sells, which is very makes no
there was
sense.
just like an entire bin.
I can't see a lot of people wanting to get that and bring it home.
Depending on the price. It all depends on the price. If it's $20, I could see that. If it's more than that, maybe not.
It's
No, I
probably
bet you
40.
I would say it's
What
probably
are
like
the
50,
t-shirts?
60
The
bucks.
t-shirts are like what, $35, $40? I bet that's like 40 or 50 at
I would
least.
say that doll's at
Yeah.
least $50.
That's what I would think. How much were the Bray Wyatt ones when they sold those? Does anyone
They
know?
were expensive. Yeah, they were expensive.
I bet it's about the same price then.
Yeah. And they were smaller.
And they look like carnival prizes too.
They're pretty cool. I bought them.
Can't say I did.
Fair enough.
It's not as cool as a backpack though.
Nope,
True.
sure isn't.
True.
And you got it on sale.
I did.
That's the
Fair.
best.
So
$30.
do you think he's the third person that AEW is hinting as their third signing?
I kind of feel like he has to be.
Yeah,
There has been some, release talent, but the fact that it was, that was said it was a major,
Right.
major star.
That's why
Yeah.
we were trying to go through the names earlier, and they just weren't really major stars in our minds.
Right.
I can't think of who else it would be at this point. I mean, Braun Strowman, but
He's
I don't think that's major enough. Adam
over
Cole,
Bray Wyatt. No,
yeah,
unfortunately, neither of them. I mean, as
Mhm.
someone said, Brock Lesnar, but would you really want that?
you wouldn't, but it would definitely.
It would send ripples through everywhere.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
But
that
that's
would
about
be
the only major
huge.
star over him would be him. Really, I can't think of
That's-
anybody
yeah.
else.
I mean, unless it's like,
Because you're not getting like
You
The
know.
Rock to join. Like that's not
Right.
happening. Or Austin
No.
or somebody like that. It's
Right.
not those guys. So I mean, who else could it be?
and it's like, I know, I mean, Hogan, it wouldn't be Hogan. It wouldn't
No.
be Flair. Like,
No.
I mean, I think the only person that's bigger than CM Punk right now would be Lesnar. Like if,
Yeah.
but I just feel like you can't sign Brock Lesnar because one, I'm sure,
It depends on the
Vince would
age
do
range.
everything right, but also too, it's like I
He's
mean,
just all about
like,
money.
right, but you're gonna throw him out there with like,
Jungle
two,
Boy.
2 point, yeah, Jungle Boy or Marco Stunt or it's just
That would be awesome. I'd
Would
watch
You know
he
what I
that.
mean?
go-
Like-
yeah, he'd probably go with Marco to put him out, like just to toss him around in like the upper deck.
just
but
chuck him into the I was gonna say the eighth row.
there's your way to get rid of him. Marco's dead. Sorry,
He just kills him.
he's
Brock Lesnar
gone.
legit kills Marco
Him
Stunt.
and Fuego, like he can have a handicap match and get rid of both of them for you. You just signed a contract. Well, he's dead now. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, really, as you were saying, there's no real big guys to fight him.
Right. So like that's why I feel like
Even if you put him in with Omega or Heyman or whoever, it's he's so much bigger than them.
right. Even like you look back at even like Lesnar's New Japan run,
Mm-hmm.
and it's mostly he worked with Kurt Angle,
Right,
but
right.
he wrestled Nakamura, and Nakamura's a pretty big dude, and he
Yeah.
still looked kind of out
He's
of place.
tall, but he's just not big. He's
Right.
like 6'3" or something, but
right.
weight wise,
And you
he's
just-
little.
You just have Lesnar, just he's just a freak. He's just a freak human being
Right.
that just he does great in WWE. That they got
Mhm.
at least some decent sized guys that can
Sure.
put up a fight, I
Yep.
guess. But yeah,
He just doesn't seem like he'd be the guy that would fit there.
no,
And you'd be paying $4 or $5 million to him for 3 or 4 matches or 3 or 4 appearances. It's like, I don't know. Just doesn't
We're ultimately a
make
square
sense.
peg in a round hole.
Right.
I mean, they have they have it, and they would do it, I think. But
Oh, yeah.
should you?
It would be
Right.
name recognition only. That'd be the
Right.
whole purpose of it.
It's because honestly, I feel like it's the same with I don't know if Mark Henry is trying to work, but you just saw on Wednesday Big Show and QT Marshall are having a match that I really don't care about, but
Well, if it gets QT off our TV screens, I'm all for it.
right. I mean, that's I guess
Which
that's
it
the
might be.
plus, and you
It
just
might be
Yeah.
just taking him to the back now because why waste TV time with him anymore?
right, because he even said that too. He's like, during his promo, he mentioned how he's like a backstage
Yeah.
kind of guy. I mean, that'd be great because he's just not, that whole gimmick is just not doing well at all. It's I feel like that's kind of, you get rid of I won't say that Joey Janela's and the Sunny Kisses, but you got Colorado and Aaron Solo and Marco Stunt. You have just all these little tiny dudes that just
Camarano's a big
don't-
guy,
I mean, yeah, but like Aaron Solo, he's what, like $160.
if that.
You know what I mean? So it's just, you have all these just little guys that
Yeah.
it's not going to look good when you're standing next to the Big Show or you know what I mean? It's just, so hopefully it's just, I guess you relegate the Big Show to just kind of make them an attraction almost.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you wouldn't see him
You know
more
what I
than
mean?
maybe once or twice a year, I wouldn't think.
Right. Like, I don't think he should be, turning heel and face every other week and crying on TV and all that stuff. So
I guess he was saying that in some sort of a podcast or interview we did yesterday. He said that you won't see me turning face and heel every other week because I'm not going to let it happen. But
Nice.
WWE was like, you either do it or you don't.
right.
Going back to Mark Henry, I see him having at least one match.
I say, because he lost like 200 pounds, right?
Yep.
Like something like that.
Yep.
Like, he looks incredible right
Yeah.
now.
But he said when he first came up, he wanted at least one more match. I see it happening, but that's the point, is just where.
You just
Where
have him
and
wrestle the Big Show and just call it a day.
You
Because,
might
like,
get to
seriously,
that point.
it's kind of the same thing. Who do you have Mark Henry wrestle? That he's not
Mhm.
going to just look like,
Right.
you know what I mean? That he's just going to, a bear that's going to maul a small child.
Sure, right.
Marco Stunt.
Marco.
Yeah, book it. That would be great. I'd be there
Marco
for
seems
that.
to be the small child for everybody tonight.
I mean, he is a small child.
He is,
It's like 5'3".
Not even.
if that.
No,
If
you
that.
I think he said somewhere he just is a hair over 5 feet tall. And he's like 127 soaking wet.
86 pounds.
He really is.
I have a Labrador heavier than him.
I bet you do.
Well, folks,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's getting kind of close to
gonna be about
75%
that
of CM
time.
Punk time.
I have a
Right,
dog to
where-
walk before this.
We're 75% away from it happening.
Yes, we are. Just
Yeah.
about.
Well,
That Dolph's $30. I hate it.
30?
Yeah,
30.
30.
It's less than I
That's
thought
a-
it would be.
yeah.
That's a good deal to sell.
Because
I bet
I was
they
gonna say
sell
that's
some
probably
now.
why.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably
Or 50. I don't see
no.
it.
I bet you that sells a lot this weekend.
Well, then you're going to be seeing a lot more of what's going on.
Yep.
Mhm. Well, tonight and tomorrow will be the big store days.
Well, you'll have to keep us surprised on how it's selling.
Yeah, well, I went yesterday, and I will go tomorrow because a friend is coming into town to watch the show.
Cool.
So yeah, and maybe I'll buy one for the podcast.
Oh, please buy one for everyone.
Yeah, we wanna keep
Christmas
this
is right
gimmick
around the
going.
corner. Well, it was someone's birthday just the other day, so
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
send me your address
Oh no.
and $30.
Wait a
And a
minute.
self-addressed stamped envelope.
I'm buying myself a present. All right. And a self-addressed stamped envelope, right?
I'll wrap it. I'll wrap it.
Oh.
That's where I'll take it.
Well, Rick needs to tell me his address so I can forward it over there because I think he wants one really badly.
I would just totally just throw it right in the street.
You know, it'd be awesome.
Burn it on the
was like
podcast.
Yeah.
it'd be awesome as like a fantasy football trophy,
See that?
or like
That's the
person
trophy
who,
for the draft when we do the draft shows.
That's
Yeah,
the, that's
or
the skunk trophy when if you lose and you come in last. You have to keep the doll around.
right, and then like take pictures with it, like
Yeah,
in
right.
weird places.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Out to dinner just with the doll.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject, but I was just checking something real quick. Is Baron Corbin homeless now? Is that his gimmick?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
his
It's
gimmick.
pretty funny.
When he lost the crown, supposedly his wife left him. He can't perform in the bedroom. He's homeless now. He lost his car. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
he's
stole
using
the
his
briefcase
mom's
though.
phone.
That happened last week or something.
Yeah.
Just
It's
remember,
funny.
kids, satisfy women and you'll always have a place to live.
There was a pretty funny TikTok he put up there. The WWE put up there last week with him. I actually laughed, believe it or not.
Is that the one where he's just like, when I had the crown, I was making like $1 million or whatever. And now
Mhm.
I'm only making like
Yep.
$750 or something. And he's just like,
And he's walking around. They wouldn't let him in the building. Then he got it back there. They wouldn't let him take any of the food from catering. And then at the end, they're like, well, thanks for doing this for free. For free! He lost it.
Oh man, those budget cuts are really hitting them hard.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
I mean, it's entertaining, but it's not
funny.
it's not doing him any favors whatsoever. You know what I mean? He's definitely, what's the term? He's making chicken. It's pretty
Yeah.
awful.
Mhm.
now I need some chicken salad.
Nice.
On that note.
Yeah. On that note,
Thank you for listening to Through the Table Podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian. Catch us on Twitter and Facebook. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Till next time.